Have you ever found yourself gazing at an old photograph, a familiar object, or perhaps just staring into the quiet stillness of a room, and felt an almost palpable wave of presence? A fleeting scent of a perfume long gone, a whispered memory that feels more like a current conversation, the distinct sense that someone you've loved and lost is, for a breathtaking moment, incredibly near? This profound, often startling experience, this whisper from beyond the veil, touches the deepest chords of the human heart, especially when navigating the desolate landscape of grief. The question of how, and indeed why, departed souls might choose to reach out to us is one that has echoed through human history, a mystery whispered in the quiet solitude of longing. Why do some of us receive these comforting signs, these ethereal reassurances, while others wait in a seeming silence, yearning for just one small token of continued connection? Today, we embark on a journey into the heart of this tender mystery, seeking not just answers, but comfort, understanding, and a deeper appreciation for the enduring bonds of love. Guiding us through this delicate exploration is a remarkable work of Dolores Cannon, a pioneering regressionist and researcher who, through her decades of exploring consciousness and the afterlife, unveiled extraordinary insights into the soul's journey and its intricate connections that persist even after physical death. Her findings offer a beacon of hope, suggesting that these moments of contact are not random, but part of profound, natural order. Do you wish to attract positivity and good vibrations into your life? Comment below to affirm your desire for good things and to join our collective intention for a brighter path. And please tap like if you're ready to welcome these positive energies. The loss of a loved one carves an emptiness that words can scarcely touch. Their laughter, their wisdom, their unique way of being in the world, all become treasured yet aching memories. In the midst of such profound sorrow, the possibility of a sign, a feeling, a dream can feel like a lifeline, a gentle warmth seeping into the chill of absence, offering not just solace, but the strength to navigate the path ahead. Many of you listening may have your own sacred stories, vivid dreams where conversations flowed as easily as they once did, inexplicable coincidences that seem too perfectly timed to be mere chance, a sudden, overwhelming sensation of familiar, loving presence when you needed it most, or the discovery of a meaningful object, a feather, a coin, in the most unexpected of places. And woven through all these deeply personal accounts is often a gentle wonder. Why me? Why at this particular moment? Dolores Cannon's extensive work, meticulously compiled from thousands of deep hypnotic sessions, consistently pointed to the idea that these connections are far from accidental. Be sure to stay with us, because as our journey unfolds, we'll uncover some of the truly surprising and deeply comforting perspectives Dolores Cannon shared on how these spiritual connections are forged and why they occur. These are not mere flights of fancy, but glimpses into the soul's enduring capacity for love and communication, a testament to bonds that death cannot erase. But what are the underlying principles that govern these sacred encounters? What makes a soul choose a particular person, a particular moment? We begin to explore these delicate mechanics in our next chapter. At the heart of understanding these sacred connections lies a fundamental truth, consistently illuminated through Dolores Cannon's decades of extensive research into the afterlife and the subconscious mind. The journey of the soul does not end with physical death. Instead, life is a continuum. The essence of who we are, our consciousness, our capacity for love, and the bonds we forge all transcend the boundaries of physical existence. These are not merely comforting thoughts, but recurring themes from the thousands of deep hypnotic sessions Dolores Cannon conducted, where individuals access profound levels of awareness. She found that souls, once free from the limitations of the physical body, often gain a remarkable clarity and a different kind of perception. They don't simply vanish into an unknowable void. Rather, they continue to exist, to learn, and often to maintain a loving awareness of those they have left behind on earth. But how does this translate into those fleeting, yet deeply impactful moments of contact? Dolores Cannon explained that souls in the spirit realm become acutely sensitive to energy. They can discern, with a clarity unavailable to us in our dense physical reality, who among their loved ones is truly ready and open to receiving a sign, and who might still be too enveloped in the raw pain of grief to process such an encounter in a healing way. Dolores often described this intricate process as a form of energetic attunement. Think of it much like tuning an old-fashioned radio. To hear a specific station, the radio's dial must be set to the correct frequency. Similarly, souls who have crossed over naturally seek to connect with individuals whose own energetic state, whose emotional and spiritual frequency resonates harmoniously with their own. It's a gentle, natural drawing together, not a forceful intrusion. This tuning in isn't arbitrary. It's guided by several key factors from the perspective of the soul wishing to make its presence known. One of the most crucial initial considerations, as revealed through Dolores Cannon's work, is the emotional readiness of the person still living. While a soul's love remains constant, they're often very careful not to cause further distress. If a loved one is consumed by the deepest, most acute pangs of grief, a direct sign might be too overwhelming, potentially amplifying pain rather than bringing solace. Therefore, souls often wait, with infinite patience and love, for a time when the intensity of sorrow has softened, perhaps into a state of gentle remembrance or what some call a luminous melancholy. This is a state where a connection can be perceived not as a painful reminder of loss, but as a comforting affirmation of enduring love. This compassionate discernment explains why many people report that signs from their departed loved ones don't necessarily occur in the immediate aftermath of a passing, but often emerge weeks, months, or even years later, when a certain degree of healing and acceptance has begun to create a more receptive emotional space. The soul, from its broader perspective, seeks a connection that will be truly beneficial and uplifting. But emotional readiness is just one facet of this delicate spiritual equation. What other elements contribute to a soul's decision to make its presence felt? Our next chapter will explore the vital role of our own spiritual openness. Beyond the crucial element of emotional readiness on our part, Dolores Cannon's extensive explorations into the continuity of consciousness consistently highlighted another profound factor influencing how and why souls choose to connect: the powerful, enduring nature of emotional bonds. These deep connections, forged in love, shared experience, and even complex challenges, act as potent bridges spanning the apparent divide between our physical world and the spiritual realms. Dolores often taught that emotions are, in many ways, the very language of the soul, the energetic currents that allow for perception and interaction beyond the five senses. Our emotional state, therefore, doesn't just affect our own well-being. It can significantly influence our ability to perceive the subtle presences of those who have crossed over. Think of Margaret from Austin, Texas, a story representative of many Dolores encountered in her work. After losing her beloved husband of over 4 decades, Margaret continued to feel his distinct presence, especially when she was lovingly tending to the beautiful garden they had nurtured together for so many years. This deeply ingrained emotional connection, cultivated through countless shared seasons of joy, sorrow, and quiet everyday moments, wove an energetic pathway, a conduit of love between their souls that physical separation simply could not erase. What is truly fascinating, and a recurring insight from Dolores Cannon's thousands of QHHT sessions, is that these loving connections can sometimes become even more palpable, even stronger, after a loved one transition. It's as if, freed from the dense limitations of the physical body, the soul can express its love and presence more expansively. Dolores Cannon often explained this phenomenon by noting a fundamental spiritual principle. Consciousness travels where thought and feeling direct it. Pure, unconditional love, unbounded by physical constraints, has the innate capacity to create powerful, resonant channels of communication that flow effortlessly between dimensions. This love acts as a beacon, guiding souls to those they cherish. Furthermore, the concept of unfinished business or unfulfilled promises plays a particularly significant role in why a departed soul might choose to make its presence known. Consider the Roberts family from Minnesota, whose experience echoes themes Dolores Cannon often encountered. After the patriarch's passing, he began appearing vividly in his eldest son's dreams, specifically after the son made the difficult decision to sell the cherished family business, an action that went against a promise made to his father years before. According to the wealth of information Dolores Cannon gathered, souls frequently maintain these connections not to cause distress, but to gently guide loved ones towards the fulfillment of important shared purposes, to help complete outstanding soul contracts, or to bring resolution to matters left unsettled. These are not hauntings in the traditional sense, but often loving attempts to bring peace, understanding, and energetic completion to lingering earthly affairs for the benefit of all involved. The soul, from its broader perspective, seeks harmony and fulfillment of its chosen learning experiences. These emotional ties and unresolved matters create strong energetic links. But what about the quality of those bonds? And how does it influence the soul's choice of whom to connect with? We'll delve into the intensity of shared experiences and unspoken words in our next chapter. When considering the intricate web of connections that draw souls back to their loved ones, Dolores Cannon's groundbreaking research revealed that the sheer depth of an emotional bond doesn't always correlate with the length of time two people spend together physically. Consider experiences like that of Elizabeth from Miami, who felt the constant, comforting presence of a dear friend with whom she had shared only 3 intense years, navigating profound challenges of a serious illness together. Dolores Cannon often explained that it is not the mere passage of calendar time that measures the true strength of the bonds between souls. Rather, it is the intensity of the experiences shared, the depth of the love exchanged, and the significance of the lessons learned in each other's company. A brief but profoundly impactful relationship can forge an energetic tie just as strong, if not stronger, than one spanning many decades but lacking that same depth of connection or spiritual resonance. Souls, from their expanded perspective, recognize these pivotal relationships where significant growth or profound love was experienced, and these often become luminous pathways for continued connection. Furthermore, Dolores Cannon frequently encountered cases in her QHHT sessions indicating that souls often choose to connect with those individuals with whom they have what could be termed unresolved emotional gestalts. These might be unspoken words of deep love or gratitude that were never fully expressed, lingering resentments or misunderstandings that yearn for forgiveness, or unshared confessions and secrets that create an energetic pull. These powerful emotional anchors can keep a departed soul lovingly close to the living, not in a state of being stuck, but in a compassionate desire to facilitate healing, understanding, and ultimate release for both themselves and the person left behind. During these moments, when the soul perceives an opening or a need, they may manifest with particular clarity, gently trying to reach their loved ones, offering comfort, or subtly guiding them towards insights that can help release the heavy burdens of past pain or unspoken emotions. This highlights the soul's enduring commitment to healing and the evolution of loving relationships. To continue inviting enlightenment and the flow of good things into your journey, comment "Hope" below as a personal affirmation for continued illumination and positive happenings. Beyond the nature of the bond itself, our own state of being, our personal receptivity to contact, is equally, if not more, crucial in this divine interplay. John from Tampa's story is a poignant example of this principle. A lifelong skeptic of anything beyond the material world, he noticed absolutely no signs from his dearly departed mother, even while other family members frequently spoke of unusual, comforting occurrences they attributed to her presence. However, during a particularly challenging period in his own life, overwhelmed and seeking solace, John made a conscious decision to momentarily suspend his skepticism, to simply let go and open his heart to the possibility of connection, trusting whatever feelings might arise. It was precisely then, in that space of newfound openness, that surprising and deeply meaningful things began to happen. Finding his mother's favorite, rare flower blooming unexpectedly in his yard, hearing her most cherished song play on the radio at pivotal moments of decision, and experiencing incredibly vivid dreams where she offered clear, loving guidance. Dolores Cannon consistently emphasized through her extensive work that the most effective manner to communicate with those who have passed on is not through forced, ritualistic methods or by anxiously seeking external channels, but rather through a gentle, sincere attunement to the subtle vibrations of universal consciousness, a quiet opening of the heart. This inner receptivity, this willingness to listen to the whispers of the soul, is a golden key. But how does our daily state of mind and our environment affect this delicate attunement? We will explore these practical aspects in our next chapter. Our inner state of being, as Dolores Cannon often highlighted through her extensive research, plays a profoundly significant role in our ability to perceive the subtle communications from loved ones who have transitioned. When our minds are constantly immersed in the frantic pace of daily routines, hurried, stressed, and overwhelmed, our consciousness can resemble a clouded crystal, making it practically impossible to see or sense clearly beyond the immediate demands of the material world. The delicate whispers from the spirit realm simply cannot penetrate such mental static. However, the moment we consciously choose to stop, to calm ourselves, to turn inward, and truly listen with an open heart, everything can change. Mary, a dedicated hospice nurse from Cleveland, experienced this remarkable transformation firsthand. For years, she had encountered death professionally, approaching it with a compassionate, yet primarily clinical perspective. But after she began incorporating practices like meditation into her life and consciously dedicating time to her own spiritual development, she started noticing something new and profoundly touching. The souls of recently deceased patients would sometimes linger, offering a gentle sense of farewell or a silent thank you for her dedicated care. This newfound awareness wasn't because the souls hadn't been there before, but because Mary herself had cultivated the inner stillness necessary to perceive them. True receptivity, as Dolores Cannon's work suggests, doesn't mean constantly living in a state of anxious anticipation, desperately waiting for a miracle or a dramatic sign. On the contrary, it's a state of calm, open acceptance, a gentle readiness to acknowledge a connection if and when it occurs. Dolores often described this ideal state as being in tune with the infinite, an inner equilibrium where perceived boundaries between our dimension and the spiritual realms naturally become thinner, more permeable. Interestingly, many individuals report receiving the most distinct signs from their departed loved ones precisely when they stop insistently looking for them, when they release the pressure of expectation and simply allow life and spirit to unfold. This state of allowing is also deeply connected to our ability to trust our own subtle sensations and intuition. So often, we may receive a fleeting signal, a familiar scent, a sudden memory, an unexplainable feeling of presence, but our rational mind immediately steps in to dismiss it as mere coincidence, a trick of the light, or pure imagination. That is why learning to honor and trust our inner voice, those gentle intuitive nudges, become so vitally important in establishing and recognizing these sacred connections. As Dolores Cannon often reminded those seeking understanding, the veil between the worlds is indeed at its thinnest when the heart is truly open and the mind is quiet and still. Beyond our inner state, the elements of time and place also play crucial roles in creating windows for these cherished communications. Dolores Cannon frequently noted from her sessions that while for the soul, linear time and physical space are not the barriers they are for us, certain moments and locations become natural focal points for connection. Experiences shared by countless people worldwide reveal that manifestations from departed loved ones often occur on significant dates, birthdays, anniversaries of passing, or special holidays that held deep meaning for the family. Claire from Arizona, for instance, always felt her grandmother's presence most vividly each year on her birthday when she visited the old rose garden they had lovingly tended together. Souls also frequently choose locations imbued with powerful shared memories. The family home, a favorite quiet bench in a park, or even a random cafe that, unbeknownst to the living, held a special significance to the departed, as Jennifer from Portland discovered. In these resonant spaces, the loving energy of shared experiences seems to make the connection more tangible. Even liminal times, like the quiet hush of dawn or the gentle fading of twilight, are often reported as periods of heightened spiritual sensitivity, moments when our own consciousness is naturally more attuned to the subtle. These connections are deeply personal, reflecting the unique tapestry of each relationship. But what are some of the common ways souls actually make their presence known? We will explore the diverse and often surprising methods of spiritual communication in our next chapter. Having explored how our inner state and the significance of time and place can create openings for spiritual connection, we now turn to the wonderfully diverse and often deeply personal ways our departed loved ones actually make their presence known. Dolores Cannon, through her meticulous research into the subconscious and the afterlife, discovered that the methods souls use to communicate are as varied and unique as their personalities were in life. She often noted that the specific manner of communication depends not only on the development and inclination of the soul that is passed on, but also significantly upon the receptivity and developmental stage of the individual to whom these gentle manifestations are directed. It's a beautifully orchestrated interplay, a kind of spiritual resonance tailored to each unique relationship. Among the most universally reported pathways for contact are dreams. As our conscious mind, with its protective barriers and rational filters, relaxes during sleep, our awareness becomes far more open to the subtle frequencies of the spirit world. The Thompson family from Georgia, for example, shared an astonishing account of all three siblings vividly dreaming of their father on the very same night shortly after his passing. Remarkably, each dream contained a distinct, personal message from him, perfectly tailored to their individual life circumstances and emotional needs, offering comfort and specific guidance. This illustrates how souls can lovingly and intelligently interact with us when our minds are in a more receptive state. Physical signs also constitute a very common and deeply cherished way that souls communicate their continuing presence and love. These can range from the unexpected discovery of old photographs or cherished mementos in plain sight, to the sudden, inexplicable scent of a departed loved one's signature perfume, tobacco, or favorite flower filling a room. Sometimes it's the spontaneous playing of a meaningful song on the radio at a particularly poignant moment, or the repeated appearance of special objects, like specific coins or feathers, in unusual places. A woman from California, for instance, described how after her husband's death, she began consistently finding coins minted in the year they first met. These tender discoveries invariably occurred during moments when she felt particularly alone or was in need of support, serving as tangible reassurances of his enduring affection. If this journey of reflection and discovery speaks to your heart, supporting us with a like and subscribing to the channel allows us to continue sharing these inspiring explorations together. Sometimes, souls choose to manifest their presence through the beauty and synchronicity of the natural world. A white butterfly consistently appearing at significant moments, the unusual behavior of a particular bird, or a sudden, gentle gust of wind on an otherwise perfectly still day can all be subtle yet powerful ways of drawing our attention and conveying a loving hello. David from Phoenix shared a touching story of how, after his mother's passing, a hummingbird, a creature she had adored, began to regularly visit his office window, hovering there precisely during moments when he was deeply thinking of her or grappling with a difficult decision. Dolores Cannon's work suggests that nature itself can become a living canvas upon which souls paint their messages, as the natural world often vibrates at a frequency more attuned to the spiritual dimensions. Even electrical devices can occasionally become conduits for contact. Flickering lights that seem to respond to a thought, televisions or radios turning on or off spontaneously, or the strange but meaningful behavior of mobile phones or computers have all been reported. Typically, these manifestations don't provoke fear, but instead create a distinct sensation of a loving, familiar presence, a playful nudge from beyond the veil. Dolores Cannon often emphasized that life is continuous, merely changing its form and purpose, and this continuity allows for these ongoing connections, expressed in myriad ways according to unique bond between the souls involved. And what are those moments when a message seems to come to another person, or when we actively wish to create a more receptive space for connection? We'll explore these final facets of spiritual communication in our concluding chapter. Beyond the direct signs and symbolic messages we've explored, departed souls sometimes choose other people as gentle intermediaries for their communications, especially young children, whose minds are often naturally more open to spiritual subtleties, or individuals known for their heightened sensitivity and intuition. A young grandchild might suddenly utter a phrase or share a memory that was uniquely special between you and the deceased person, something the child could not have known through ordinary means. Or a compassionate friend or even a thoughtful stranger might convey a message or an impression that resonates deeply, offering comfort or clarity at just the right moment. Dolores Cannon's research often highlighted that these are not mere coincidences, but can be carefully orchestrated moments where a loving soul utilizes a receptive channel to transmit a message of assurance or guidance across the dimensions. Many of us also wonder if there are ways we can respectfully help our loved ones establish contact or create a more welcoming atmosphere for these sacred connections. The collective experiences of countless individuals and the profound insights from Dolores Cannon's work suggest that certain gentle practices can indeed facilitate this beautiful interplay. First and foremost, creating a tranquil, harmonious, and love-filled atmosphere around ourselves provides an ideal energetic environment. This might involve dedicating a quiet space in your home with soft lighting, perhaps playing music that was cherished by the departed person, or simply finding regular moments to be in a place where you feel at peace and can lovingly reflect. Dolores often taught that our internal state of harmony directly influences our external environment, making us more accessible to those in spirit. Meditation and sincere, heartfelt prayer are also powerful tools. This doesn't require rigid religious protocols. It's about finding quiet time for an inner conversation with the soul of your loved one, sharing your feelings, your memories, and your love, just as you would if they were physically present. Being truly ready for contact, as Dolores Cannon's findings suggest, doesn't mean constantly or anxiously waiting for a dramatic sign. Rather, it's about cultivating a state of quiet acceptance and loving expectancy, an openness to the possibility that a connection may manifest at unexpected moments, perhaps when you're engaged in simple, everyday activities. Many also find that engaging with meaningful objects, looking at photographs, holding a cherished item, or even preparing a favorite meal can strengthen that loving emotional bridge. It's essential, however, to remember that each contact is a precious gift that cannot be demanded or rushed. Our role is to create a loving space where such an encounter becomes possible. Sometimes the most powerful connections occur not when we are focused on receiving messages, but when we are actively honoring our loved ones through the way we live our lives, by embodying the values, dreams, and wisdom we cherish together. Such acts of living tribute create powerful, positive resonances. Dolores Cannon consistently reassured that communication between loved ones separated only by the veil is natural and appropriate when motivated by pure love, rather than by mere curiosity or an inability to release grief. If you are still waiting for a sign, please don't lose heart. Trust your feelings and your intuition and remain open. Perhaps your loved one is already reaching out in ways so gentle you haven't yet fully recognized them. The core message from Dolores Cannon's vast exploration of consciousness is one of profound hope. The connection between souls is eternal and continues to evolve. We are never truly separated from those we love. We are simply experiencing them in a different form, across a veil that is thinner than we can imagine. Love truly knows no boundaries. As we reflect on our shared journey and the profound interconnectedness of all things, comment, "We are connected," below to affirm this universal truth with our community. And your exploration doesn't have to end here. Click the video now appearing on your screen for another powerful message.